Hello, everybody. Tim Hughes here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite. Today, I've got Judie Russell, and Judie is from Ireland. You're from Cork, aren't you?
I am.
It's the part of Ireland that keeps the rest of Ireland afloat, isn't it?
Dun, 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 shh. I actually have sound effects that I wish I could play, but that is one of my favourite ever jokes, Tim. So I'm glad that you got to
So
use
just
it.
so people know, Judie actually was supposed to tell the joke, but I thought I'd do it, and I thought I'd grab it and do it for myself.
I think it worked better coming from you anyway, because like I just seems to land flat every time I try it, and I'm the only one laughing. So you made me
So
laugh.
Judie, where can, before we start talking, I always want to make sure that you get an advert about where people can find you. So where is it that they can contact you?
I'm a lucky person who managed to get all of my handles at the Vid Academy. So it's at THE Vid and Academy, thank God. So I didn't have to, go underscores or socials or officials or anything like that. Like I got in early. Yeah.
Fantastic. And so tell me about your background, because you've actually just did you did video and then you went to corporate and then you did video, or was it what was it? So you've got a degree in something quite
I
amazing.
do. And like I suppose we're so lucky here in this country that like you get out of college or you get out of school and you naturally kind of go into college and you don't even think about the things, the price that American people have to pay to go to college every year. So it was just natural to go. And I did economics, and I knew deep down I was a creative kind of person, but I just wanted something that was just like get people off my back, I guess, or something. It was like something that is sensible, that, I can just do that and then go traveling. The whole mission was to really go traveling. So I did a master's in economics, which was lovely. But like, a few years later, I was over in Australia and someone was like, Ireland's in a deep recession. Judie, what's a recession? And I was like, I don't know. We didn't cover that.
Well, you got a degree, you got a master's in economics, so you know.
I do. And you know what, actually, I suppose you could pick it up quickly. And isn't it amazing how sometimes people can just go on like interviews and say, this is Judie Russell and she has a master's in economics. I wonder if I could just wing it the way that I hear people winging it if I like tried my best, but I never have. I've never relied on it like that.
So you've now started your business in terms of video, haven't you?
Yeah. So I went from I was traveling for 4 years and I was working in restaurants and bars, and I landed this job in Costa Rica for a sports betting company as a YouTube presenter. It was wild now, and this was 10 years ago, and it was just so incredible, Tim. Like this company had this studio with a green screen, 3 cameras, this machine called a TriCaster that allowed you to broadcast live on YouTube 10 years ago. And, it was just a few pushes of a button. And then I was on YouTube, and my mom was like, she's on TV in Costa Rica. And I was like, it's not really TV, it's YouTube. But it wasn't a thing then. But it's now that I'm starting to see companies invest in this, and it's taken that long. Like I thought that there was one of these rooms in the back of Deloitte and in the back of, PwC and stuff. And I was like, why does nobody have this? Why does this company in Costa Rica have this and nobody else does? So we're starting to see it come along now. But then I had my own TV show, which was wonderful. But I always tell people, like, the budget for this TV show. So I worked on a proper TV show, right, with a big budget. And then I had my own TV show with a ridiculous budget of €850 an episode. And that was a 30-minute episode every week. But I learned how to make efficient programming, how to make stories efficiently, but it totally burnt me out. So then I went back to economics and relied on my masters and stuff. And yeah, it's been a long winding road.
Being able to being in effect, you were producing and directing and presenting your TV show, and you had little budget, but what you were able to do was actually work out a way of, as you said, doing it efficiently and effectively. Because everyone thinks you have to spend, you have to get a big film crew in and stuff, don't they?
And that's something that really kind of bothers me. I was on set of a large production last summer, and I was just looking around at all of these people. And I'm not trying to take jobs away from people or anything like that, but I just think that the old method is broken. And, they were kind of looking at me coming on with my iPhone and a gimbal, and they were kind of laughing at me as if like, look at your one, and I was kind of laughing at them back, going, well, it doesn't actually look that different. Sound is still sound. You still need to have a professional sound crew, and you still need to have lighting. I suppose you still need the same amount of things, but I'm looking at this 40, 50 people behind the scenes, and one person might be holding up a sheet that could be held by, a clamp. And I'm like, surely this isn't like the way that it should be, So what I do is I'm a one-man show usually. I go and I film people, and you'll often see me like with the camera and maybe a boom pole with a microphone on it, and maybe the other hand will have some kind of reflector, and then I'm directing the person. I'm like, okay, great, and I'm in and out, and I'm like, I'm not wasting any time. I'm not wasting your time. I'm not wasting my time. I want this to just get done as quickly as possible, and that's kind of how I operate in a way.
So why I decided that I'm constantly being told by my people, and I have to set, because I'm the CEO, so I have to set an example for everybody, which is what we need to do, is that we need to create a set of Linda says that you're an octopus, which is kind of actually what I was thinking. And one of the things that we need to do as individuals is create different content. It's not just about putting out, you can do written word and that, but ultimately different people consume content in different ways. Mm-hmm. Some people are looking for video, some people are looking for the written word, etc., etc. So as part of your content mix, you need to do video.
100%.
Question mark.
Yeah. Would you think that you sometimes don't? Would you disagree?
Well, I'm probably like a lot of people, which is, as you can see, I'm not 25. When I grew up, a camera was something you kept in a cupboard, and you brought it out at special occasions, and you took a snap, and then 18 months later, you took it down to Boots and got it developed. Video was just like nothing. And then, of course, now I can go out, and I'll go out in the evening, I'll take 3 photos, and you put it on Instagram, and it's like that. But we have to have video as part of our content mix. But why do you think that we should create video? Question to you.
Well, do you know, I love the kind of you thinking back to when you were younger, because sometimes in my workshops, I start off by showing people my baby video, which was the camera in the press that came out with the tape. And my family was probably one of the first families to get one, because my parents owned an electronic company, not an electronic, domestic appliances, but they went high end with the cameras at one stage, right? And so the camera used to come out, and I'd be like, hi, my name's Judie, and this is my garden. And then I'd go up to the TV, I'd put the tape in, play the tape, and I was like, it still blows my mind that you can play the past on the TV. And the fact that we take this for granted so much, that you can capture a person's essence and play it back. And, okay, it's important for marketing, and I get that. But what I really love about it is filming my mother doing interviews with me, that I know that future generations will be able to watch that back. And I see that as a real place. Now, I know we're talking about business and stuff like that, but where it's important for business is that, you're familiar with the familiarity principle. The more people feel like they know you, the more they trust you, and the more they're likely to work with you. So by putting videos out there, people are feeling like they're getting to know you. It has the same effect as you sitting down and having a coffee with them almost. They're like, I don't know, for me anyway, I'm like, if I see an actor in real life, I'm like, hey, George Clooney, George, oh no, he doesn't know me. I just know him. Okay, weird. So I think that that's where video goes a long way for professionals to just for their audience to get to know them without them having to spend every minute of the day meeting people, even though that would be lovely. But we have work.
Yeah, I've got a friend of mine is friends with one of the actors from The Office. So that's the UK version of The Office, not the US version.
Great show, yeah.
And he's stood in a queue in a local DIY store. And he's just minding his own business on a Saturday, picking up some things, paint or something. And someone will run up to him and basically say something from The Office. and as if they know him, and he has to react, and they expect him to react in character. And it's true, and I don't think people, and I know that people think that I've got to have a shirt and tie on, and I'm a professional person, but actually the way that we sell is, I would, if I was meeting you for the first time, well, when I met you for the first time, I come on and I say, this is what I do, this is this is and we get to know each other. And video gives you that opportunity to actually fast forward that, short circuit that you can get this the way you said, the familiarity principle. You can have 800 million people knowing you, and that's such a powerful thing. I'm just going to put up Linda's comment. I've kind of half read it. I think being able to hear someone's voice, how they move into so just capture things. I agree. Yeah,
I agree. I totally agree.
I mean, we're filming this at the moment in the situation that, as you know, these things last forever. We're currently filming this on the 8th of March 2022, which is, there's a war going on in Ukraine, and the stills are frightening, but the video is more frightening. And I think it's what we see is that because we're used to seeing things moving in real time in our lives, that's where the power of video comes in. Absolutely.
And we're in a, I suppose, I'm very slow to listen to any news at the moment. Actually, for the last few years, I see something and I'm like, I don't know what to believe. And that's where these phones come in, is the people there on the ground sharing their stories on social media is probably a more representative reality of what's going on than packaged pieces nowadays that potentially have some sort of influence. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they don't, maybe they're completely free of influence, but it's the everyone, I wish everyone was more trained up in video, that they would be able to, clip a mic on someone, ask them a few questions, and then get other shots and put it together, which they are, which is actually really what TikTok and Reels is doing for people. It's turning people into editors the backwards way than I would have done it, but it's doing it contrary to what the way that I would.
It's empowering people to, everybody now has a mobile phone. I used to know someone who was a cameraman at Sky TV, and he'd bring home the camera for Christmas and stuff like that. And the thing was that the lens was £20,000. Yeah. And so video isn't expensive. We can quite easily take video of stuff. We're taking one right now because it's being saved. So what we've got, about 7 minutes left. So in terms of how do you create a video? Because I know when I started it, I did it wrong.
Right. And how did you do it wrong, or what was wrong?
Well, I thought about it. What you think about the wrong things. You you tell us. If I want to, so I did a 2-minute video on Monday, which I put on my LinkedIn profile. If people are watching this and say, well, I want to do that as well, and whether it's on Reels or TikTok or whatever, how would you go about doing a 2-minute video?
I suppose the easiest way, I think, especially if you're just starting, is to work with content that you already have. So most of you probably have a website or a brochure or PowerPoint that you could just copy paste all that text into a text document. Then I would just read it out, reword it in dialogue format. So text, the way things are written and the way things are said are a little bit different. So I might take my website stuff and then I'll actually read it out loud and be like, oh, I wouldn't say it like that. So then I'd reword it to how I would say it. Then I would load it into a teleprompter app. And the teleprompter app, actually, I can show you there. It's called Teleprompter for Video. And it's a lovely app because what it does is it scrunches the text right next to the lens. So here we have the lens. And then this is the text that I just copy pasted in. Now, you have to use the selfie camera, which isn't going to be as good as the back camera. But if you just pop that up on a tripod, let it go, and it will go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it will just start scrolling at whatever speed you set it at. So then I would, have a few practice shots at that, put it up at eye level, on a tripod or even into a cup. You know, I always, sorry now to move away, but I always use these little, you know, cups, and I just cut out you've got the real deal.
I've got if it's called a jobby, which if you're in Scotland it means something else.
Not even gonna
and this is what I don't know, £10-15 on. So what's Amazon? That? $20 on Amazon.
Yeah.
The lights I bought extra, which is the same, and I got a mic, which is the
wonderful. And that is the thing, actually. Like I like, you know, in my workshops I'm like, don't buy anything, make your own tripod. You can't.
I love the Costa Cup tripod.
Yeah, and then if you need
Isn't
it to
that
be bigger,
amazing?
more than less. It's just, but you're right though. The like, and you can get natural light. So your light is fab, but natural light from the sun. So just put your cup in front of a window. But the sound. So like, what I actually came across this study recently that tested these speakers. So it got a speaker talking about physics, and it got people to listen to the speaker talking about physics with good audio and bad audio. And then it asked them questions afterwards about how much they enjoyed the talk, if the speaker was smart, if the research was good. Like in all of those questions, the results were that when the sound quality wasn't as good, that the speaker was less smart, that the research wasn't as interesting, and like that, I think that the research wasn't as like proven or well founded. So audio quality is so vital.
We've all been on like Zoom calls where people are I'm just in a coffee house, and you can't hear what they're saying, and it's frustrating.
It is, isn't it? So I think buy a mic. I would always suggest to people to purchase a mic, but even if you can't, just be closer to the phone. You know, the shot is probably going to be a little bit like invading people's personal space a tiny bit, but I'd rather you be invading their personal space than your sound quality be dropped, and just make sure the room is quiet as well.
And don't forget, don't look at the camera.
Look into the lens.
Look into the lens, so I always put a bit of paper up. There's a little green dot. Where are we? There's a little green dot there. And I always put a little bit of paper, and I talk at the little bit of paper.
Amazing. And that is the thing as well, Tim. You're so right about this app. The reason that this app is all scrunched over, the text doesn't go the whole way across the screen like normal apps, is it's really scrunching it right next to the lens. So it does give the illusion that you're looking into the lens, but you're not. Thank God you're reading. And then that's just one video then that you'll be able to upload without any edits or cutaways or music or anything like that. And then make your next video better. Learn how to add music to your next one. Then learn how to add your logo to your next one. So, you know, I put up an Instagram post that seemed to resonate with people the other day, and it was like this cartoon of a guy, and he's like, I want to get good at something. And then the cartoon next to him said, well, you have to be bad at something first. And it's so true. Like,
so in terms of fast forwarding it, so what about, you know, you've done a couple of those. What should you do in terms of, you know, developing? The thing that I didn't do when I first started was I didn't sit down and develop a script.
Yeah.
What I've learned now to do is actually plan and actually spend time planning what I'm going to say. The other thing is when you want to get good is to use something like Apple Clips.
Yeah.
Which is a free app where you can basically, so if you see these people on YouTube when they're moving and then they change into something else, they can do that. And so I was told how to do interrupts.
Brilliant.
Because one of the things I didn't do it on Monday, but what I've done is I've spoken, and then your next bit of speech, you'll find me wearing a different color t-shirt. And then I talk a bit, and then I wear another different color t-shirt. So I'm using interrupts, and I use Apple Clips to do that. But to do it in the first place, you have to come up with a script.
Absolutely.
So in terms of you talk about story spines and developing a script. Just talk about that for us quickly.
So I actually have 8 whole steps for developing a script for a good video now, not just for like, a short video for Reels or something. Like I try to get people to make videos for the homepage of their website. So the first thing I do is the 5 W's. I'm like, why are you making it? Who is it for? Where is it going? How are you going to measure success? That's one thing that people don't really ask themselves at the start. I'm like, give yourself a metric, give yourself 1,000 views across all platforms, see if you hit that. And then for your next video, boost it up to 1.5 and see if you can get there. So that's step 1. Step 2 then is choosing your preferred platform. So say, Tim, you're going for LinkedIn, then it's probably best to be under 2 minutes and in landscape. If I was going for TikTok, I'd be probably under 1 minute and portrait. So you're choosing duration and aspect ratio. Then I'm going into storyboarding. So I love like the pencil and the eraser, and I love sitting there and like drawing stuff out, and I feel like it gives my brain a different perspective, or gives it time maybe to make decisions while I'm like drawing my stick figure. And these drawings are terrible now, but they're like red t-shirt, green t-shirt. You can kind of like put those in and you're like, okay, now this is starting to make sense. Now I know what to say. Then I try to add a hook, something at the start of the video that wakes people up in the first 3 seconds. That's just like something, whatever that may be. Then I turn it all into a script and shot list. So that might be word for word that I load into the teleprompter, or it could be bullet points where I'm like, okay, talk about this for. And then I'll also be very rigid in terms of determining the duration. So if the first scene is talking about the purpose of the Vid Academy, I'll be like 20 seconds. That's 3 sentences. What can I get out in 3 sentences? And sometimes then I will script it word for word to get that out. And then the final thing that I think about then, the final step, I think I've skipped one somewhere, but not to worry, is legal considerations. So is there anyone in my video that I need a release form for? Do I need, is the music under Creative Commons? Am I using stock shots from a site, and am I sure that they're okay to use? And then just making sure that everything is owned by me and is fully mine. So I never use other people's clips, even though, people are like, but you can use that under the fair use policy. I'm like, I just, I don't even want to get involved in it. If I can't create it myself, I won't bother, So that's kind of my planning process, very sped up.
Good, that's fantastic. And I think it's great. What we've been able to do today is walk through in terms of what equipment do we need to get up running quickly. Just to do some very small steps in saying, you just need to do it.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of, can I say JFDI on I don't, why am I asking myself if I can say there's a certain amount of, just do it. And then there's, what we can do to actually enhance it and get better. And as you said, if we start and just expect yourself to be rubbish.
Oh, my first videos, Tim, thank God they're gone. It was in Costa Rica, right? And it was for sports betting. So they wanted to talk about like the good odds and the bad, or the good side, the person for the team and the person against the team, the positive and the negative. But the producer at the time was like, okay, we'll pretend you have a twin. So we'll record you on this side of the screen, wearing like pigtails and looking really like nice. And then the other side, and we'll get you a wig, a black wig. And it's like the recording is this really awkward conversation between me, who's never acted a day in my life. I didn't know what to do. I was like, yeah, so I'm not going to root for the Steelers. Oh my gosh. But if I hadn't made those videos, I would never be making this type of videos that I'd be making for YouTube today. So like, do it. Just do it. 100%. Yeah.
And thanks to Mike, there's a good comment there about the planning process, and that it's really good. Thank you. Judie, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your expertise and your story about being a presenter in Costa Rica. I mean, what a life experience.
Thank you so much for having me, Tim. Really enjoyed chatting to you.
You're welcome. And remind people where they can find you. Anywhere
ye are. I'm at the Vid Academy. I'm pretty much everywhere all the time. So come say hi.
Okay. Thanks, Judie. Thanks for today.
Bye.
Bye.